I like the part of helping people, you know, it's more like helping people. Like there are lots of accidents day in, day out. People come to us with different kinds of problems and then I have my own staff who put in long working hours here, but I don't try to, I try to kind of balance because they need to be taught because we are all human beings. So there is a human touch to whatever I do in my day-to-day work also. I try to make their life better, by like talking to them, getting them done, getting the medical tests done, and any other social activity apart from my job. Not only helping them with their work, apart from that, I also try to help them in their personal life also. I have men officers and men staff only. But to make them work, to encourage them, to make them feel as passionate as I feel about my work is very important for me. For that, I will have to be in touch with them all the time. They should feel, should there be a problem, our inspector is available to us.
Hello, Mary. Hi. My name's Dr. Abbott. I look after people who have a sexually transmitted infection or are worried they may have one, or if they have a genital problem that's not necessarily a sexually transmitted infection, or HIV, or genital dermatological problems. You may have an infection, something like chlamydia or gonorrhea. I think we should perhaps get the tests for that done. I like the science of it. I like the fact that people get better, and I see them briefly and get them through a crisis. I like the fact there are psychological elements to it. It's not just the science and the physical stuff. What I really like is when I've seen somebody in a terrible state, either they're very anxious or that they've got a difficult problem, and I've steered them through that, and they've left the clinic with a smile on the face when they came in very distressed. That's what I really like.
The camera is taking you a picture, so leave your hair tight, darling. So tell me this. No, it's nice now. It's okay now.
Straighter.
I was told that the doctor said she's at the last stages of her life. That's what they said. They said she's quite sick. I nearly did not take the placement when they described to me how the lady was feeling, because I thought, how would it feel if somebody passed on when I'm there? And then I thought, no. Also, I should not think that way, because nobody knows when one is going. Okay, the doctors, yes, they've got the wisdom to see what's going on and to estimate what may happen, but it does not mean that may happen. It may happen, it may not happen, because God is the only person who knows when each person will leave this earth. She's a very nice lady, very loving, very motherly. She cares about other people. She ends up caring for me sometimes, saying, "Are you not cold? You should wear a jersey." She's quite a very nice person anyway.
What time is it?
It's past 12 now, yeah. You're due for lunch now, really.
Oh.
Well, I think she's lost her dignity. She thinks so too. It isn't very pleasant having other people wash your body and wash your private parts.
Sweetie? Jen?
Yeah.
I'll prepare your food now.
Will you?
Yes, darling.
Good.
The things I'm supposed to do basically is to help her with, living independently, helping her with things like washing, because she's a bit weak at the moment. She was weak when she came from hospital, but now she seems to be coming up. So I help her with assisting her to wash and the general things that everybody does when you wake up.
Oh, the house has got chimneys.
Sorry, what did you say, darling?
That house there,
Mm-hmm.
is got there.
Oh, outside there.
It's got chimneys on.
Okay.
Nasty house with chimneys on. There is no privacy with a house with chimneys on it.
What do you mean, chimney? What has it got to do with privacy? What has it got to do with privacy, love? Chimney? Chimney has got to do with smoke. The other day you were saying I should make fire, so it means there's a chimney here too, isn't it? Because the smoke has to go through the chimney. To me, it doesn't feel like work. Except I think if you may go to a service user who is a bit of, who is nasty, maybe this is why you may feel it's hard. For me, it's not hard, honestly. I just treat her like I would treat my mom. I mean, meaning that I don't have to go away, but I just still, I don't have to be, I can't sleep with her in the bed or something like that, you know, but I care for her with a passion. That's all I can say, I think.
So when you have to do physical caring for her, you find that easy. Why do you find that? Because you don't know her well like your mother, but you...
But we're trained. So
but some people can't do it as well as others.
No, because they don't walk in love. They don't want to do it. I suppose those who can't do it, they do it just because they want to earn at the end of the day. But whereas when you're doing care, you must not only do care because you want money. Of course, it's nice to earn. You can't do it for free. But you must do it with a passion. Come on, darling. Don't sleep, darling.
Darling.
Hush, my darling. Don't sleep, my darling. The lion sleeps tonight.
About 10 years ago, my dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's and he also had a stroke a couple of years later. So, and that was also at the time, but at the start of looking after my dad, I was also signed. But that, after a few years, that failed as well. That went by the wayside. But yeah, the care for my dad sort of overtook being able to be a musician. I was having to let people down for gigs, or you know, not making rehearsals or being late for things just because I was having to look after him. It was work because it was 24 hours. I got carer's allowance, and then eventually I went on to a thing called direct payment, whereby my dad was basically given a budget for his care, and he employed me. My dad was my employer. So even though it was classed as a job, they were recognising it as a job, they could only actually qualify it for 14 hours a week, even though it was 24-hour care he was needing. They were only saying he needed only 14 hours. That's what they'd pay you for. Not that you'd expect to be paid for 24 hours a day. You don't go home from it. You're there with it. It's not something you leave. You have to do it all the time. You can't clock off with your dad and go, no, sorry, can't do it for the rest of the day now. You have to do it. And I don't know whether people fully understand how demanding it is on the carers, especially if it's relatives as opposed to professionals. By the end, I was probably as housebound as my dad was because I couldn't leave him. So you become isolated, really. You're working in your own little world by yourself.
Have you got your oosh cup, Dylan? Where's your oosh cup? Have you got it? You can never really escape the responsibility of having children. It's quite a large responsibility having children, but also like working in the home. If you're at home all day, every day, you know, there's been times where I haven't gone out of the door for a whole week, and that can be really like lonely and isolating, and you can go mad really being at home all day, staring at the same four walls, looking at all the work that you have to do. You can never get away from it. You know, there's always washing to do, there's always cleaning to do, and you can't get away from it sometimes. That's hard. It is relentless work and relentless responsibility. I mean, that's the key thing, is that you are just responsible all the time. You're the peacemaker, you're the teacher, you're the cleaner. You know, you are the person that everybody wants to do everything all the time and all at the same time. In terms of society, the economy depends quite heavily on people doing unpaid domestic labour or voluntary work that's unpaid. And so from that perspective, society is exploiting that unpaid domestic labour. But in my own circumstances, I'm privileged to be able to have the choices to make over what work I do. Housewives are important economically, particularly women doing childcare, because, you know, obviously somebody has to look after children once you've got them. and that enables another person to be in the workplace. But I don't think how I value unpaid domestic labour is the same as how society values unpaid domestic labour. I think society values it very little. A bit of cream. Bottom. A bit of cream. I know it's hard to imagine from a house, but quite a perfectionist. It's hard for me to not have things perfect. But it's not more important than the other things that I think are important, the things to do with the caring, and those tasks will be done first.